Hey guys, we're back. It's another day. We're working on our basement shower slash mudroom makeover still continuously. We've got the shiplap in place. We got a lot of the other trim installed yesterday. Continuing with the trim today. Got a piece here I'm going to be installing in the corner. Then I'm going to be working on trimming out the bottom of this bench slash shelf. Also, I found a piece of scrap material which I'm going to use right at the top of where the tile meets the ceiling of the shower. Yesterday I made this piece, and it's a transition piece that goes from the concrete floor up onto the engineered hardwood floor. We just have some leftovers that we're trying to use up. That's sort of what this project's all about, just kind of using up a bunch of scrap, trying to make the area a little bit nicer. But I wanted to talk about how I made this piece. So what I did was I took the engineered hardwood material, and it sits on an underlayment. So then I measured the overall height when the two are together, and it winds up being exactly a 1/2 inch. So I also had, this was actually here when we bought the house, some 3/4 inch tongue and groove oak hardwood. So that material measures at exactly 3/4 of an inch. So I wanted to do is make a piece that would be a 1/2 inch tall, so it would match the overall height, and then the grooves would line up so that the two could be locked together. So what I did was I first took this material and I ran it over through the thickness planer. And this is my thickness planer setup. I built this years ago for my old shop. Basically kind of have like a input, and then there's an outfeed table that catches the material. I have this also hooked up to my dust collection system. I've got a shut off gate where so I can shut it off for the different pieces of shop equipment. So basically I started here and I ran it through, maybe taking off a 1/16 of an inch per pass. And then once I had the piece planed down to 1/2 an inch, then I went over to the table saw, and first I ran through the table saw, removed this tongue, then I removed this groove, so I end up with just basically a flat piece of wood with the finish on it. The next step is I wanted to make the new groove so it would match perfectly with the engineered hardwood tongue. So what I did was I took the engineered hardwood and I put it on the table saw and adjusted the fence and also adjusted the blade. Right now the blade is set at an angle. So I started with the blade at the 0-90 degree position, and then just lowered it, started with it down low. Then I just brought the fence over and then just slid this so it's just entering the groove. Then what I do is raise it till I start to see the material lifting off. Then I know I'm a little too high, then I just back it down till it just touches. So using that method, then I took my new blank piece, ran it through, and what ends up happening is it's slightly wider than the blade width, which I believe the blade is 1/8 of an inch. So I first ran through cutting the groove, and then what I did was I put this back on the saw and adjusted it so I was kind of getting the overall width of the groove. Ran this through again. So then the last step is I cut basically an angle here at 30 degrees to make a transition. So once this piece was done, then back over here where we're installing the material, this I didn't want to have any fasteners going through this starting piece, so I just used construction adhesive to glue it down, and then I started laying the engineered hardwood.